So we picked up the MotoAlliance 1500 utility trailer, and it's for us to use out at the camp. We've had a couple of those smaller Agway type trailers that you buy at your local box stores. It's supposed to have like a 500 pound or 750 pound weight rating. We were wrecking them quick. Hauling rocks, hauling logs, firewood and whatnot. They just didn't seem to really stand up to the demands that we had. So we bought this XT 1500 that a couple of the guys out at the camp have this particular trailer, and we actually borrowed one time, and it performed beautifully. Our ATVs were able to pull it just fine, and so we decided to get one for ourselves. We noticed when we were doing our research that we couldn't find a video on assembling it, and some of the feedback was that assembly was difficult. So we've decided that with the help of my partner McGrath over here, that we would film the assembly of parts out. These are our side rails that will be going onto the established bed once it's made. What we're doing right now is my son is opening up all the... They've actually laid this out really well. Everything is labeled as to what they are, and then it coincides with the instructions. So hopefully right now we're at a so far so good situation. So the first step is to take the trailer back sections, which we have placed over here. And what we've done is we've set them upside down. We have the front of the trailer facing towards the house, so we know our orientation. And what our first step to do is to actually take these two pieces and bolt them together. And that's with the 5/16 hex bolt. So we've already run into our first stumbling block, and we haven't even gotten anywhere yet. So the first step in our instructions, as I was telling you, is you bolt the two halves together. It says you use 5/16-18 by 2.75 bolts. So then when we go over to our list of supplies, those bolts aren't even in existence. That wasn't even provided to us. So we went to our parts list pictures, and we noticed that the 5/16 by 2.75s are right here, but not here. On here, they have the 2.5s as only 4, but on here, we have 8 of them. So I'm thinking what they've done is they've combined both of these into one size. So we're going to go ahead and put this together using the 5/16 by 2.5s, and hopefully it will work. Per the instructions, the bolts go from front to rear, and there's 4 of them. So we're going to start with that. Bolt goes through, washer, lock, washer, and then bolt. So we'll get these all finger tight, and then we'll cinch them down. All right, so you've seen the little side rails. You've seen the stock of the bolts and whatnot. In another box comes your axles and your, I don't know what they're called, tow tubes? I don't know. It's, what goes from your axle to your ATV or whatever vehicle you're using to tow.
The thingies.
I would call it
the thingy.
Huh?
A tow rod?
Tow rod?
I guess.
All right, let's call it a tow rod. So
works for me.
Are axles. 2-parters. Boy, this metal is cold. It's 33 degrees out here today. So we bring these. And they go something like that. One on each side. And then you have a support brace that goes here that has like a U-bolt section that points towards there, and then you have a straight flat piece that goes on the back, and then you have the large carriage bolts that go, oh, wrong fingers, that go from the front to the rear. Again, everything seems to be front to rear, kind of like wiping. And you secure it up. So, let me grab those other two support pieces. Here's one. Now I'm going to assume this is the other. So again, this will go here, right up like that, and this one goes on the back. So let me get the hardware and we'll bolt this up. Come on.
So do those have locking bolts too? And
No, these don't, but these are, they have a lock inside the washer itself, the nut itself.
oh, okay.
Because I was thinking of using Loctite until I saw what kind of nut it was, and it's like, okay, we're good to go as is. Okay, so I'm going to hand this off to you. You do your outer one. Give my knees a break. So an old guy like me, you kneel down, it's your knees that need a break, and if you try to bend over, then it's your back that needs a break. Yeah, I should have put this up on a workbench.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea, actually. Yeah. Back of the truck. Now that went to work.
Well, I could have just brought out a couple sawhorses. Actually not a bad idea. Oh my goodness, these washers.
So we're going to put 4 in there? 4 total?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's support bolts that go on each end.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so we picked it up off the ground. Decided to listen to my own advice. Oh my goodness, it's cold out here. So now we just need to line up the axle with the holes that are, oh, I scratched. No, I didn't.
No.
That are in this frame. So there are holes for 4, but you're only putting in the bottom 2 bolts at this time. And again, it's from the outside to the inside. Once again, there's a washer, a lock washer, and then the nut.
And what size are you using on that?
These look, whoops. What are these, McGrath? They look like they're like 1.5.
I don't know.
These are, I don't know.
Yes.
5/16 by 1.75s.
Lined up here.
A little taparoo.
No, it needs to go up.
Okay, well, do you need me to lift it?
Sure.
What's going on here, buddy?
Like this hole. Yeah, so that needs to go down.
Okay, there. There you go. You groovy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just dated yourself.
That's all right. Somebody's got to date me. This thing's going right. Come on. This little ratchet gives me the hardest time. Always has. Alright, there you go, buddy.
Okay, so what's next after this? There was a little scratch, but
It's gonna get worse out in the woods.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, you cool with this? I'm gonna look at the next instruction. Alright. So after that, it looks like there are some support brackets that go on the inside of the rail. Again, using the 5/16 by 1.75 bolts, which are these. Looks like there's going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. And then a couple little brackets, which are probably over here. I will get you 10 that these are them.
Those go on to the orange.
No, these are going to go. Okay, I'll be right there. These are going to go on the inside right here.
Okay.
One on each side. So what's going on, buddy boy?
It's stuck.
Oh no!
Oh no!
You got the Gibson saddle dappled with the sludge pump.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Are we going to be driving around with that forever on the bottom of the thing?
Got a built-in toolkit.
Yeah.
Come on. You go. There we go. All right. So I may have loosened that. So this is a 1/2 inch. You want to grab a 1/2 inch wrench, put that on there, and just make sure that's tight. All right. So back over to here. Again. Outside the end. Run that through. Come on. There we go. Throw that on. Flat washer, lock washer, and nut. And you do the same to because this is where people start running into trouble, is doing this, the assembly of the trip latch. And so I don't see why we're going to be any darn different. So let's just kind of mirror this up to the picture as much as possible. So we're going to have a piece of angle iron that is going to look a lot like this here. And in one of the 2 holes provided, so you're going to have one bolt that's going to go through here, but the other bolt's going to be sitting on top. Right? So that's going to be sitting just like that. Okay. So these are your number 4 bolts. Which isn't mentioned, but I am going to guess it's going to be these. If I was a betting man, I'd bet on that.
Oh boy.
So we're just going to leave these hand tight for now. Okay. Assemble the trip latch. So you start with the pin, and you put it through the first part of this main frame. This little pin then goes onto the back shaft of the trip latch, followed by this spring. Now this spring, you need to compress it and fit it inside this little framework, and then slide the rest of the latch right through and out the other side, just like that. We then took these, there's 2 of them. Let me show you real quick. Let me show you real quick, by golly. Okay, so there's 2 of these. So what you do is, with the spacer facing out on both sides, you put one on either side of the back of the pin shaft. So as you can see, we put the bolt through, one facing out through the shaft, then this one. Put on washer, and then again, this has the locking nut on it. So washer and then nut. Again, we're only doing this finger tight at this moment. And then the second bolt that I said goes on the outside goes through this framework and then through these two spacers. So if I could do this without getting my head in the shot, that would be super fantastic. Where's the hole? There we go. Just like that. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
And from what I've heard online, this was the trickiest part because the instructions really aren't super clear. So we just had to put this one spacer in. We missed it. Now the funny part about these instructions is when you're looking at them, and we struggled with this a little bit. So when we're putting these pins together, in the supply kits came these washers with the latch trip plate and the spring latch plate. So we were struggling trying to figure out where these large washers went within this assembly. And it was my son that realized that no, these flat washers actually go on the tire. So we solved that little mystery. So now, as we had shown you earlier, we put it all together. This little one here is going to be a 7/16. This one here is a little bit bigger. It's probably a 5/8. We did everything just finger tight. And so now what McGrath is going to do is he's just going to cinch everything down, and then we're going to go on. Now we are at the point where we're going to attach the two pieces together, and then logics would tell you that the next thing to do is put it on the trailer. A point that I want to make is when you go to tighten these things up, you don't cinch them down super tight because these are moving pieces. This is the latch so the bed of your trailer goes up. So you need to tighten them so that, obviously they don't fall apart, but you need to keep them loose enough so that they remain moving parts. So what we did is we tightened them up snug, and then we backed them off about half a turn until we got to what we felt was a reasonable resistance. So, all right, so moving forward, as I said, we are now going to attach the two pieces, and I won't swear to it, but I don't think there's any right or wrong to this one. But what we've been doing all along is we've been going from one side to the other, bolt to nut, so we're going to keep that going on this side as well. There you go, son. Oh, there we go. I think I should get it. Yeah, so these are, again, 9/16. I don't think I have a 9/16 deep, so we'll have to use the closed-end wrench. So if you want to take that over, you got her? Alright, so then our next step after this is we will now be taking this assembly over and putting it onto the trailer itself.
Now your bolts are going in the wrong direction. Some going that way, some going that way. Flip those around.
You want to flip it around?
No,
So
it's
they
fine.
match? So I was going with this side, going that way.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
I wonder if while this is upside down, if we should jump ahead a few steps and put the tires on, so this thing isn't sitting flat on the ground with when we're doing the side rails.
Kind of surprised that they don't have you do the tires before the side rails.
seems to be working.
Kinda.
So you got my side. Make sure you put the air valve outside.
What about those bolts? Does one go on each side,
Yeah,
or
I just wanted to put it on to see how it looked.
looks like a tire?
You know what? I'm thinking only one spacer's going to fit on this. What do you see?
Yeah,
You push it all the way there. There's room for one spacer.
Let's see, find out.
Oh, maybe we can get two on
I
there.
think it's like one here.
Yeah, I think you're right. When I first put the tire on, it didn't look like there was going to be enough room, but and then there's those D clips that just hold these suckers on.
That's kind of nice.
These are nice tires.
Yeah, they're really nice tires.
You know, if you're on muddy or slanted terrain, I think these things. Oh, these don't fit on there. Wrong. So then you have these 4 carriage bolts, which I'm assuming are the ones because they're the only ones we got left.
How do the other? What about the other parts? How do you put those on with?
Little brackets.
So you got ta-da. So we just have to tighten those up. Now, you have the option of securing these together or just leaving them removable. I'm going to leave my front one removable
Okay.
because if I want to put in something longer, I want to be able to take it out. But we could chase bubble wrap to the next town. But I do think that these two we will attach.
Yeah, good idea. Dean.
I mean, they all do seem to be exactly alike.
But I think that there's parts over there.
Well, I think,
The parts go in between them. Yes, this is what's how the pegs.
yeah.
Most likely gonna be a little latch or something.
Well, you know what? Let's look at the instructions, shall we?
Wow, that's a novel idea.
Yeah, see, they're all 2s. Oh, this is the 1000. We're the 1500. They're all 2s except for the 1, so that's all the same. So they do have theirs all bolted in.
Guessing, yeah, the D clips will go on the back ones, but yeah, we need.
So I'm
something.
thinking these rear brackets.
The brackets should go on now.
All right. So that concludes our build of the MotoAlliance 1500 utility trailer. Now we bought this on Amazon about a month ago. It's actually been sitting in my truck for a month waiting for a decent weekend in which to build. As you saw, we did have a little bit of troubles with the latch for the tilt, and again, that's where we saw most of the feedback saying that that part was difficult. But we took our time, we went slow, and we made our way through it. Now we did do a couple little things that, according to the instructions, should have been done, and that's where I wanted to keep that front piece able to come out completely in case I'm pulling something a little bit longer than the bed, and I didn't want it hanging out the back as opposed to the front. So, you know, that piece is completely removable. But other than that, this thing is completely assembled and ready to go. Thank you for watching our Mud Hawk channel, and look forward to being with you again soon.